Welcome back to Restaurant Tea. Early morning for me. As you can see, I'm still waking up, but I don't care. It's hot in this restaurant right now. I just turned on the air, so I'm sweating to death, but I had to get this video in. So it occurred to me while I was getting coffee, and I'm like, you know what? One of the best opportunities out there right now, considering the climate that everyone has become a little more accustomed to being at home, are cloud kitchens. So cloud kitchens, ghost kitchens, whatever it is that you want to call it, it's that place where you just see a door and drivers coming in and out of, picking up orders. They're not necessarily dining. No one's going in there to dine. They're just picking up orders and delivering these orders. So there could be multiple concepts in one ghost kitchen, which is cool. There's a lot of experimentation that goes on in kitchens, like ghost kitchens, but for the most part, it's one concept, maybe two, and you're just trying to scale out this concept and increase orders as much as possible, and then increase your margins as much as possible. So one thing I will suggest is that if you are going to be venturing into this market, into this niche, become an expert at some kind of search engine optimization, because you're going to have to optimize your presence online somehow in order to get these people to order from you directly, not necessarily from the third-party platforms like DoorDash and Grubhub, but at least have your own delivery service set up too, so that you can capture a lot of those margins yourself, right? I would highly suggest a Mexican concept. There's other great concepts, Chinese concepts. Okay, the reason why I bring up the Mexican concept, if you are going to do this, is because it's very low cost. I don't know if you know, but a lot of commodities are protected by the government: cheese, milk, flour, stuff like that, right? And all these ingredients do play into the Mexican food concept, that kind of concept. So what you want to do is make sure you have a concept that's widely accepted, low cost, right? Because in addition to your lease, insurance, payroll, deposits, utilities, whatever it is that comes into play when you're setting these these businesses up, relatively speaking, ghost kitchens are a lot cheaper compared to a regular restaurant, and you don't have to worry about so many workers, which is a great thing. Yeah, you don't want too many workers, but because of labor costs. But depending on which state you're in, labor's relatively cheap too. So here I am in the middle of nowhere, Houston, Texas, and outside of Houston, and the minimum wage here for tipped employees is $2, so $2 per hour. So essentially they're free labor, right? And you can scale that up a little more for the kitchen employees, but because it's a kitchen concept, obviously you're only going to be dealing with the kitchen employees. So I would say the median hourly rate is probably like $16 an hour, but if you're involved yourself, you're saving a lot of labor. So the other beautiful part about ghost kitchens is that you can set up this concept really fast. You don't have to worry about all these things that are going to be affecting the guests coming into the dining room. You can just set up your online presence and get things going, right? So that's a beautiful thing. The only thing is that people have to know you're there. So the reason why I popped into my head is because I'm getting coffee and I'm seeing the neighbors come in, and I recognize some of the guests that come into our restaurant. They go next door, and next door happens to be a small, very small location, and they happen to have a very strong online presence where a lot of deliveries come into play, and I think 90% of their business is deliveries. So it's a good thing for them. They have a dining room, which is very sad to see that no one goes in there, but they can call me whenever they're ready for me to fix their services. They can easily call me. I can have my team come out and we can fix that for them. But regardless, the I bring it up just because they have such a huge presence online. They get so many pickup orders. It's incredible, or to go orders, however you want to phrase it, right? And so I figured, why don't they just mainly focus on that? Maybe that's what they're doing. I have no idea. But for us people stuck in the restaurant industry, trying to find an outlet where we can become entrepreneurs and our own bosses, I'm not kidding you, this is one of the best ways to do it. I know a lot of managers think that they have these great aspirations to become these amazing restaurateurs that open these amazing concepts all over the world. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you can step away from this business, do it. If you're going to stay in this business, by all means, but you can scale out ghost kitchens. That's the best part. Like, you can set up, it could be any kind of concept, right? But you can make it work for yourself in terms of opening up little locations all over the city or the state, whatever your aspirations are, and you don't have to worry about all these things. All you have to do is worry about becoming a huge online presence, right? So and then of course, if you had those aspirations of having like these fancy restaurants, you can still experiment with the food itself at the ghost kitchen. You can, whatever it is that you think that is so gastronomically amazing that you have to put it out there, you can still do it at the ghost kitchen and then just offer it as a specialty or featured item, whatever it is that you want to do. But I'm gonna tell you right now, your margins is the most important aspect to all of this, so that it's just a numbers game. So like, the more volume you get, the more margin you're capturing. So there's no need to go crazy on all these things. You just need to make an income that makes sense for yourself, right? So, and your family. So what I've noticed for these, as a broker, this is the reason why I bring up the Mexican concept. As a broker, I've seen so many restaurants go out of business, and different kinds of concepts have the ability to go scale out, meaning go find other locations to expand their brand. But what I've noticed is that Mexican restaurants never go out of business, never. And they can have, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 restaurants all within the same vicinity, and then you don't have to worry about the competition, because everybody just likes different kinds of Mexican food, Tex-Mex, whatever it is that you think fits your palate. I have no idea, but it's all the underlying same theme. It's just Mexican tortillas and proteins, and a little salsa on top. So those are all things that are just protected, right? Meaning the fluctuations in these markets, although they seem crazy day to day, but they're all very even throughout the year. So it's easier to judge. So to recap, you're going to have a lot less setup fees, like opening up a restaurant. Opening up the ghost kitchen, meaning you're going to have less lease deposits. Your leasehold doesn't have to be that long. Insurance, payroll doesn't have to be that high, right? You have the ability to experiment, whatever it is, crazy food that you want to come up with, go ahead and do it. You can scale out all over the city, right? You can figure out whatever it is that you want to do and just go find that location. I'll help you. And then the best part about these things is that it doesn't take a whole lot. Once you find out the concept that you want to roll with, you just, a month or two into it, you've already worked out all the kinks, all the bugs. You become more streamlined, and then now your job is just to become a very large presence online so you can get more orders, right? And then once the cash flow is positive, you can start looking for the second location and the third location, right? So all these things are very, very useful. The only problem is connecting with the customers, right? You have to find them. They have to find you. So it's very dependent on the online presence, very dependent on technology. And this is the reason why I'm mentioning to you, like, if you become an expert at search engine optimization, or find someone on your team that's an expert, then you're basically 50% of the way there. I've just seen it, like, there's a lot of people that just order from these locations. They never go visit. they hate going to these places, really, but they love the food, right? There's another Mexican restaurant. It's a hole in the wall place next to a gas station, and it's been there for 13 years. I know the owners personally, and half of their business is takeout. The other half is just a bunch of construction workers because it's in a rural part of California where there's a lot of home builders coming in, and so these construction workers are just constantly looking for something a little more authentic, right? A little low cost, but they'll pay the extra dollar or two for that plate of food in order to get something more authentic, right? So that's kind of where I would say you need to hammer out the concept that you want to go with, right? To me, I just worry about margins, right? So I just worry about what the concept is. Is it proven? I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I just know that these things make money, and all you need is a cash cow, right? With that cash, you can do whatever it is that you want to do in terms of reinvesting it or going to Vegas, whatever it is, right? But the online presence and the margins, meaning the concept, should be your primary focus, and then visibility is kind of helpful. The physical visibility is kind of helpful when you're at, like a strip center or something like that, and they people going to the store next, a Kroger or Ralph's, whatever, they see all these people going into this store or into this restaurant and picking up, meaning all these drivers going in and picking up orders. It turns people on. It's just like, it just makes something go off in their head, and they see it's a popular place, and it must be popular for a good reason, meaning the food's good. So these are the types of things that you should be considering when you're thinking about the concept. And then you have to become an expert at these third-party delivery platforms, right? You have to figure out what is it that they're charging per order and see whether it's feasible for you, because these platforms like DoorDash, they take high commissions, and this is the reason why if you become an expert at SEO and making your online presence a little more pronounced, then you're capturing those margins rather than these third-party platforms. And if you're that guy that wants to go deliver, or person that wants to go deliver, by all means, because that's your money, right? So ghost kitchens, I'm telling you, one way to get out of this rat race.